Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
So hey everybody, I'm Sean Mayo. If you don't know who I am, and I've been selling on Amazon since August of 2012. And since the very beginning, we've been selling in groceries, before the categories were gated or any of that stuff. And we've been dealing with couponers almost since the very beginning. So I have a lot of experience finding and sourcing from couponers. I've filled my 8-foot, biggest king cab pickup truck, bed from front to back, overflowing many times, buying from couponers. I go there and I buy, a ton of stuff. Sometimes they have thousands of items to sell. And couponers, for the most part, I'm in the state of Florida, so it's really the hardest. It's hardest to do in Florida as far as couponing, because the stores have gotten all kinds of laws passed. You can't sell 40-ounce beers, which is kind of a standard all over the country, because beer manufacturers got them to pass laws, blocking that. So, no 40-ounce bottles, glass bottles are allowed in the state, only for the reason that it costs more money to make the other sizes. Just as an example, you also can't double coupons, you can't triple coupons. And when you do, you can only do it, up to a certain amount, like 1 or 2 days a month. So all these things that you see on like the extreme couponing shows, you're not allowed to do here. So people aren't getting $300 back, and, buying 10 shopping carts full of food in Florida. It works in other states. It works in Georgia, the next state over. It probably works in whatever state you're in, but it doesn't work here. So what that means for me is that I have to spend, the couponers don't get stuff as cheap, which means I don't get stuff as cheap. And if I can do it so successfully, then you should be able to do it successfully. And the way we do that is by finding couponers, by looking at yard sales, going to flea markets, going to, looking on Craigslist, especially posting ads on Craigslist. And, once we find them, we tell them what we do. We tell them we buy in bulk, and everything we said we were going to do in this webinar, we're going to do. I'm going to show you how we find them, what we do once we find them, how we've hired people, the ads we post, and everything in between, so you can go out and hopefully do the same thing. And I'm going to show you some examples. Just in 5 minutes of searching, I found, probably 10 different cities that we had just talked about that are people are posting that they're couponers with stockpiles that they're looking to sell. Some of these are, for yard sales from the past, but that doesn't matter, because they had a yard sale to sell their stuff. Doesn't mean they don't have new stuff or that they're not couponing anymore. So I'm going to show you all that. I'm going to show you the way we start, and we'll work from there. This is going to be me showing you how I do stuff. If you've attended a lot of webinars, you may see, usually it's free or the small charge like we charged. And then, 30 minutes of the hour is them saying how awesome it's going to be. And you get 10 minutes of information and 20 minutes, showing slideshows, and 20 minutes of them trying to upsell you on their $1,000 product. So, there's no upsell at the end, other than probably the things you already know that we do. You know, we're going to show you the whole product front to back, and we're going to, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to walk through everything that we do. So it looks like we're doing fine. Valerie will keep up with the chat and questions, and you know, we'll cover anything that you may have as it fits in.
I'm having some on and off technical difficulties because we got some storms, but I will keep up on the questions and help anybody. You know, you can either PM me if you have something or post it in the group, and we'll be sure to answer as much as we can.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen out. So here is our, what I hope everybody's seen, video I made just for you guys on setting up email alerts with IFTTT, which is going to be one of the first things we do, and a webinar we did in the past where we didn't cover nearly as much as we did. And here are the actual ads that you that we use for buying books, buying cosmetics, you know, contacting couponers, you know, and everything in between. And you can modify those, of course, to fit whatever it is that you need. But before we start, I really have to, you really need to understand that this is something that takes repetition. You know, we've hired somebody that posts ads every single day. If you think you're going to take this information, post one ad, and you're going to get 10 couponers contacting you, it's not going to happen. You have to stay at the top of Craigslist. We post multiple ads every day on Craigslist. We hired somebody that's making somewhere between $3 and $4 an hour using Upwork, along with all of our other VAs that we have employed. And that's what they do. They post the ads on Craigslist. Now, John had a question about preventing Craigslist from blocking your IP address. I've never had a problem with that. They wanted to verify the phone number. We use multiple Craigslist accounts. I use one that I've been using for 10 years. And I have, I've had a VA in the Philippines, and I've had a VA in India, and I've had our current VA is somewhere in Eastern Europe. And I haven't had a problem with any of them. Once we verify our phone number, it's not a problem. We're not spamming 100 ads a day, but we are posting, you know, several ads a day. So, you know, for, you know, similar to these couponer ads that I created specifically for this. And if we open this up, you know, and as I was looking, I've seen that several of you have already been posting this ad all over the country. So, you know, this is basically the gist of what I tell couponers. This is what we post in the ads. And, you know, one day we're going to post it in general. And I'm going to go over to Craigslist. If some of you aren't familiar with Craigslist, this is the main Craigslist for Harrisburg, Virginia. So this is where you can post. So primarily we're going to be in for sale, but we also post in other areas. So okay. So just for couponers, we're going to post in, we're going to post under business. We're going to post under collectibles. We're going to post in free. We're going to post in garage sale. We're going to post in general. We're going to post in household. And these are all going to be places that we think that, and of course in wanted as well. But these are places that we think that couponers are going to be looking, and people who, you know, may be dealing with couponers or friends with couponers may be looking, because they're going to tell their friends that they've seen an ad, which all of these things have happened to us, and we found couponers this way. So one day we're going to post the same ad in general. The next day we're going to post it in free. And if you've posted a lot on Craigslist, and we can just go to one as an example. If you post a lot on Craigslist, you will see just close some of these windows. So if you click on prohibited here, then I believe it'll tell us what the actual, it's going to bring up this. If you hit the question mark, it'll show you the terms of use. So these are things that are prohibited. Nothing we're doing is prohibited. If there used to be a button for flagging, this is now how you flag somebody. So if you get flagged 3 times, used to be the rule, they'll take your, they're going to take your ad down. But I'm okay with that because you're only supposed to be posting your ad once a day. So that's fine. Somebody takes it down, you get an email that says your ad has been taken down. If it was done in error, you can feel free to post it again. So I click on the button and I repost it. And that's all there is to it. So, you know, if somebody flags it and takes it down, don't get mad. Like I see people complain all the time about it, but don't get mad, just repost it. Now you're at the top of the list because it goes by when it was posted. So as you can see here, this is the most recent post. And then, you know, as it gets older and older, this isn't a very active area. Some areas will have hundreds of posts a day. So as new people post, your ad's going to keep going further and further down the list. If somebody flags you or 3 people flag you, it gets taken down, then that's fine because when you post it again, you're going to be at the top of the list again, and you can continue to do that. So you know, that's one thing we don't worry about. So I just looked in some areas for stockpiles. I searched for buy stockpile, not even just stockpile, and I found all these in different areas. Clarksville, Tennessee, this one in Atlanta, this one in Milwaukee. And if you have any of these in your area, we'll be happy to forward you the links. Fayetteville, North Carolina, just post in the chat. You know, here's a great picture of the kind of thing that you're going to buy from. And I've done this, you know, over and over, time and time again. This is exactly what people's houses look like. And, you know, they'll usually have a whole room or their garage, or they stole a picture from Amazon, you know, box fulls of stuff. And this is the amount of stuff that we find many, many times, or you can go there. So people want to know how that we do it, you know, how we negotiate with these people. Now, when we look at this picture, obviously everything in this picture you can't sell on Amazon. Or if you do, you're going to have to merchant fulfill a lot of it. Aerosol cans, you know, this is hazmat. I see a ton of hazmat stuff here. This pledge I know is hazmat. They always have these, but these oil olays are great. These we sell like crazy. You know, as well as the big bottles of you know, laundry detergent, Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, Whisk, Tide, all of those. You know, we've sold countless hundreds of them. You know, they are heavy, but, you know, we throw them in a poly bag, slap a label on them, and send them off. And a lot of this off products are hazmat as well. But and these are the Swiffer, the wet Swiffers here. You know, but we've bought almost everything you see here. And as you can see, there's just a small amount. You know, they've got boxfuls of more stuff. And, you know, if they're going and couponing and spending 50 cents on an item, then, you know, if you're willing to pay $2 for it, but it costs $5 or $6 just to buy it at retail at Walmart, then everybody is going to make out. See, you know, buying lots of 25, name brands, health and beauty items. These are all the things that we're searching for because this is what, you know, they look like. Stockpile. Here's another one with a list of prices. Tide detergent you cannot buy in any store for $4 for one of those big jugs. And as you can see, if you buy any of this stuff, the prices here are great. Diapers, I mean, I've sold thousands of packs, the jumbo packs of diapers, and I never pay over $5 a pack for them. And, you know, there's so many styles and sizes from newborn, you know, up to, you know, they have like 6, 7, and 8, but you know those are rare. It's usually newborn up to 5, and then all the different styles. You know, you got pull-ups and movers and all the other ones. So let's see what else is here. So as you can see, you know, there's some stuff here that's worth buying, and other stuff that's not worth buying. So if you tried to go out and coupon, you wouldn't be able to do you wouldn't be able to buy the way you would need to be able to resell it. But they're able to buy it, sell stuff to consumers, and then be able to sell a good majority of the stuff to people like us. And let's just close these. So, so Fayetteville, North Carolina. So that's good. So John is actually in the area. I'll post this link into the chat. This woman looks like a great couponer. And I would just contact them directly. Tell them you're a reseller. Tell them you buy in bulk. Tell them that, you know, anything you can use, you'll buy all of it. You know, and I've never really had a couponer tell me they're, you know, not interested in selling hundreds of things at a time. Because the way that these couponers work is that if, you know, this is really a full-time job, couponing. You know, you have to, they're buying, you know, 100 newspapers, they're opening them up, they're cutting all the, you know, all the coupons out, they're putting them into binders, and then they have to wait because all these coupons go in a cycle. So they don't just cut the ones out that they need because they don't know what's going to be on sale. So maybe in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, paper towels might be on sale that they can, you know, that they can put together with a set of coupons that they have. And that's how they're getting a good deal. And usually we buy these between $4 and $6, the different big packs of paper towels. You know, we use them for our office, we use them for our house. Usually, you know, we've sold some in the past that were, you know, worth reselling, but usually due to the volume and weight, and especially with toilet paper, it's not usually worth it to send in, but it's probably cheaper than you're paying now, you know, especially for the better ones, Bounty and whatever other brands there are. So the way that we find these is we actually aren't searching Craigslist constantly. And if you watch the video on IFTTT, that's how we get the notifications. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, right, so there's the link. If you're around North Carolina, you know, if it's not too far, you know, go ahead and contact them. Now I'm going to go, a lot of people haven't heard of IFTTT, but this is really an amazing site for us because this is sending us notifications. They pop up immediately on the phone. And what IFTTT is basically if one thing happens, then it's going to do something else. So, you know, if something happens on Facebook, you can get an email. If something happens on Craigslist, in our case, then we want it to send us an email. So I'm just going to type in Craigslist here. And we're going to look at all the different options that are available. And you can create your own. So these are basically recipes that other people have created. And this is the best one. It's got 35,000 users. And what it does is send yourself emails for new Craigslist postings from any search you're interested in. So you can see if somebody posts an address, get notifications of new Craigslist posts in the category, all kinds of different things. But this is the one we want. And I'm going to post the link in the chat if anybody else wants to follow along, or you can watch it on the replay. So what this is going to do is send ourselves an email, and as you can see here, it says enter the search result URL here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on this blue right here, search for something on Craigslist. And this is taking us to Harrisonburg, Virginia, of course. And if we want what they all call it, a stockpile, but we could look for. So all we do is type in that search, and since we were already there, we already know there's one. But we can see in nearby areas, Winchester, Virginia, huge stockpile. Big discounts on, okay, that's landscaping, society turf. Stockpile this Saturday, Forest Lake North, wherever that is. University of Virginia, it looks like. So as you can see, there's quite a few people who just posted on that. So we're going to just copy the link out of the URL, and we're going to paste it in here. And if you've never used IFTTT, you have to link your email, but it'll just be one button, and you'll log into your email through there, and then it'll be able to do it. So you have to use Gmail for this. Enter your email address here. So I'm going to enter our Gmail. Click on Add. So now the recipe is created. And that's all there is to it. Now it's going to bring up the recipe. So here's the title. Here's the URL that you can change. It's sending it to this email. So the subject is the post title right now. So if we want to put Craigslist notify, let's say couponer or whatever you want to put in there, just so you know, then all the ones that start with that will be, and then it'll have the post title after that. And then this is the content that you can change, whatever the post content it is from this search, which would be the information via Craigslist here. And you can even make an attachment, which I don't see the point of that, but, and then click on update. So now all the emails are going to start with this, not just whatever the post title is. And you can turn it off anytime you want. You can modify it and publish it as your own. And that's all there is to it. So from now on, I'm going to be getting, which I'm going to turn this off because I don't want to be getting notifications from Harrisburg, Virginia, and I'm in Florida. But whenever anybody posts the word stockpile, we're going to get a notification. So that's all you have to do. So if you want to, you can go back to that page now, and you can make another recipe for a different search. And there's a lot of things you can search for. And if we look at these ads, you can see what they're posting. Health and beauty items. Only couponers, with very few exceptions, are going to be posting for health and beauty items, or a yard sale with health and beauty items. So, this is the first thing we do. We set up notifications, and I have dozens of notifications set up on our different accounts to be notified when anybody posts these things. So I actually have one for shampoo because so few people post shampoo for sale whenever anybody does, it's usually a couponer. So the next thing that we do is, if we go back, we're going to go back to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now the second place we're going to look is for yard sales. Actually, it's called garage sale. So here's the garage sale. We're going to click on that, and whatever area you're in, you probably don't have a ton. I'm in the Tampa area, so there might be 100 for the weekend, but I still go in here and I look at every one of these. It's not a lot of work. I'm gonna go in here and look on Thursday night usually, because on Friday is when the yard sales start. You want to go to yard sales Friday and Saturday for for something that's going on Saturday and Sunday. I said that wrong. Yard sales either go on Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. So on Friday, we want to hit any yard sales that are for Friday and Saturday. On Saturday, we're going to go to all the yard sales that are Saturday and Sunday, because you never want to go to the yard sale on the last day. You want to go there, be there as soon as it opens the first day. Now, that's if we're buying for our business, buying, clothing or toys or whatever it is that we look for. But, if we're looking for couponers, I never go there unless they don't respond to me. It's not good to negotiate and try and buy a ton of stuff or, whatever is going on, there with 100 people that are trying to buy their stuff. We send them an email. If they have a phone number, we're going to call them, and we're going to tell them what we do. We're going to explain what we do. We're going to tell them, we spend a lot. Even if you have $200 to spend, you tell them that you spend thousands of dollars a week buying from couponers, and you resell, you sell online, you don't sell anything in the area, and that you're willing to buy in bulk. And anything that you can use, you'll buy every last one they have, but you probably can't buy everything they have. But anything you can use, you'll buy all of them. And this has worked time and time again for us. And, if you need help with any of that, you just contact me or Valerie, and we will we'll help you draft an email, or, whatever you need specific to your needs, we'll help you out with. But we find a lot in this way. Now, the person that we have coming on tomorrow, we found her at a flea market. So we're in Florida, so the flea markets are open year round. They might not be open year round for you, but all of these couponers want to sell to you. They want somebody who is going to spend hundreds of dollars at a time, or thousands of dollars at a time. And that's what we do. Most of the couponers we buy from, we may go there once every 2 weeks or once a month. And, so we can just buy it all at one time. If you're going there every week, it may not be worthwhile. Some weeks they get a lot of stuff, some weeks they don't. So Karen had a question that kind of concerns this, is if we, how do we buy, and do we buy, do we only buy locally? So yes, I only buy locally. As you can see, I had about 10 different places up there, and we, search all over the country looking for different things. So when we find them, we will, we pass them on to our mastermind members of our Facebook groups, or, wherever we find people that could use those. So I live in Tampa, which is in Central Florida. We're about an hour from Orlando. There is a ton of cities that we will travel to. We travel all over the country. Florida's a big, long state. So, if we went from the top of Florida to Miami, it's probably 6 or 7 hours. It's about a 5-hour drive from where I'm at to Miami, and I'm in the middle of the state. So, of course, we're not going, the whole length of even our state, let alone other states. But if you're in a smaller state, there may be 4, 5, 6 states in your area that are worth going to. I'll go as far as, it's the same, you have to use common sense. Is it worth going? So the first thing, if I find somebody on Craigslist, if they're an hour away from me, an hour and a half from me, I'm going to say, can you send me some pictures of what you have? And when we do that, based on the picture, if they send me a picture of, 2 bars of deodorant, or 2 bars of soap or whatever it is, then that's telling me that they may not have a lot. But, if I'm seeing banana boxes or shelves full of stuff, then it's probably worth going to. And that's why I asked for pictures. Okay. Sorry, Marcia, what time is the call tomorrow? Will we be sending another link? It's going to be next Wednesday. There's one, we're doing one webinar today, and the next webinar is going to be next Wednesday at the same time. And of course, the second half of this is posting ads. And this is where we find the bulk of what we buy. So once again, we brought it up before, but this is basically the ad. Looking for couponers, we change the titles around, we change the description around, we move some of these just so it's not the exact same information. So this is basically the gist of the kind of ads that we post. And for the most part, we're getting people contacting us, mainly because we post so much, and, you really need to post. You have to get your information out there. Just posting once and coming back and saying, that nobody responded to you, then, it's not going to work. You have to, put some time and effort into this. So we had a comment that, okay.
Couple questions.
Right. So Eric had said that he gets turned down from couponers because they say they always get the prices that they want for them, even if it means holding and meeting hundreds of people. I try to explain to them the downside of their business / time to deal with multiple people when selling to me for 30 to 100% of their asking price, depending on items. How do I convince couponers to sell to us? Meaning how do I convince couponers to sell to us? So we haven't had a whole lot of this problem. I'm pretty good at, making anybody I talk to, not convincing people of anything, but, seeing the upsides and the downsides, of a good business relationship. And this is a good business relationship. And the couponers I work with, love selling to me because, as I said before, it's a full-time job. So if they're working, let's say 5 days a week, and then they have yard sales on Saturday and Sunday, or they're sitting in a flea market on Saturday and Sunday, they're working 7 days a week to do whatever they're trying to accomplish with this. So, what I give them is freedom. They can call me, and, after you create a relationship, you can convey this, but they can call me before they make a purchase, before they buy coupons, before they cut coupons, and let me know what they have. And usually they're not like, hey, I have this. At this point, they're sending a picture of a barcode, which I take my other phone or barcode scanner, and I scan that, and I can immediately tell them, if I can use 20 of them or to buy every last one they can find, and I'll buy hundreds of them. Most of these couponers are reasonable. So from this question that Eric said, which is a good leading question for everybody, if you're trying to buy things for 30%, I know you said 30 to 100%, but if a lot of things are on the lower end, if you're only able to pay 30% of what they're selling it for, then these couponers are probably selling pretty close to retail price, and they may not be people you want to deal with. So, you know, either they're people that, you know, are willing to work with you, or they're not. So, of course, I have met and dealt with people that say, oh, there's no discounts no matter what you buy. But, you know, those people are not going to get anywhere in life. You know, those are the same kind of people we run into in this business who, you know, want to get something for nothing. They paid close to nothing for it, and they're trying to get, you know, the same price that it costs at, you know, Publix or Walmart or Meijer or wherever, you know, they're buying the goods at. So if you're finding a lot of people who you can only afford to pay 30 and they want, you know, full retail price, even though you're willing to buy 200 of them, then they're not the kind of people you want to do business with. But you need to convey to them, you know, not just, you know, I'm telling you, you know, that this is a better deal for selling me the stuff for 30% of what you normally get. You know, explain to them that what you bring to the table, you know, what problem that you're solving, you know, how you're going to give them their freedom back, and how you can buy, you know, 50 to 80% of all the items you get, and that, you know, they can already have the stuff sold before they ever buy it. And they only have to deal with one person. They don't have to go and, you know, meet people all over the place, burning their own gas, spending their money, set up shop somewhere, bringing hundreds of people to their home, and, you know, everything else that goes along with selling their couponing stockpile. You know, there's tons of couponers in every small town and city. So if you know, if you're not finding somebody that's willing to work with you, then don't waste time with them. Move on to somebody else. But those kind of people, in my experience, are few and far between. But, you know, you have to be able to convey to them what you're able to do for them. You know, don't worry about you. You know, in this case, they're the customer. So show them what you can do for them. And what you can do for them is, you know, give them their freedom, give them, you know, their time back, and, you know, give them the ability to have the items sold before they ever buy them. Okay, so I think we're caught up with that.
Yeah, you're all caught up.
So, yeah, somebody wanted the link to, I think, the New Jersey. Well, here we go. I think there was a couple of them. So that one's for South Jersey. This one, Norfolk, Virginia. I'm not sure if this is the same person or not, but it was two different ads, and this may be the same person. But no matter where you go, you see the same stuff. I'm telling you, the stuff that they have in New Jersey that they're getting by couponing is the same stuff they have here. So I'm going to go now with IFTTT. Don't think you have to use these only for coupons. You can see that I shared, let me close this window. You know, we buy a lot of used textbooks. You know, this is one of our ads. This, I believe, is a different ad. So, you know, we post these ads and we get a ton of responses, as well as posting the recipe on IFTTT for books as well. And, you know, I'm constantly getting them. And the good thing about IFTTT, especially with books, you know, toys, we have one for toys, posting for used toys, Legos, Connects, you know, classic toys from the 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, I can't even think of everything that's on it right now, but there's another long list of things. So when people search for any of those things, our ad is going to come up. you know, a lot of times people search for that stuff before they, you know, they post an ad to sell. So that's what we're looking for. You know, in video games, we buy a ton of video games. So if you need a custom ad, you know, we'll be happy to help you make something custom for whatever whatever it is you need done. And
Jason has a good question.
I don't see. Okay, Q&A.
It says, do you notice prices tanking on Amazon in relationship to coupon cycles that couponers source?
Yeah, I could barely hear you, but the question is, do I notice prices tanking on Amazon in relation to coupon cycles on products that coupon source? Not really for anything that we buy. Usually the things we're buying, we have great margins on. I've never really seen the prices tank much. You know, we buy mainly medicines, medicines, groceries, things like that. And I haven't really had a problem with any of that because I don't think a lot of couponers are selling on Amazon. You know, there's quite a few in our grocery group, but the couponers are not really.
I thought he said just go out here and leave it to
Yeah,
the.
I saw it on the way out.
Here for now. You know, there's quite a few couponers in our grocery group, but they don't seem to be buying, you know, a ton of stuff to sell on Amazon. And I don't think a lot of people are taking advantage of it. And you really have to have a ton of people doing something on Amazon to make any kind of impact. You know, so at this point, I don't think that it's the coupon cycles are making a huge difference, but it's usually every 6 to 8 weeks. You'll see the same things over and over going on sale. I mean, the same things I was buying 2 years ago, most of that same stuff is still coming through the couponers. So those brands are just, you know, keeps running sales. Now, it's the same way for new products. New products are definitely the biggest coupons, and it was actually a coupon was the way I got into all this was because I bought Creamer, International Delight Creamer. I don't know if anybody's ever used that. The individual ones, they were $2.47 at Walmart. And I think they're still the same price for the 24 packs of the individual ones. Things like French vanilla and then hazelnut. There's 4 or 5 different styles, but and then every season they would have special editions, you know, for Christmas and pumpkin spice for Halloween and you know, mint for Christmas time, and you know, so this is the first grocery item that I ever sold on Amazon, and how I got into it. So I mean, it was literally almost one of the first things I scanned in Walmart, you know, in late 2012 when I was just first starting. I started in August of 2012, but when I started doing retail arbitrage, and we found there was coupons for it, and that's the only reason why I scanned it. So it was actually $1. We were finding $1 off coupons in the stores that have those automated machines where you can pull one out and then wait a few seconds and another one gets released. We pull that. So I'd sit there for a half hour, you know, getting coupons, and then we could buy them online. And then in the papers, there was 50-cent off ones. So I was buying those on eBay as well, you know, like packs of 20 and 50 at a time from people. And there was single packs and 2 packs and 3 packs and 6 packs of those that we could send in. And then there was each different flavor had all of those. And then there were bundles that would have, you know, the hazelnut and the French vanilla and, you know, other flavors, like 3 packs and 4 packs of those that were all mixed together into bundles. So there was probably 15 different ones, and we were sending all those in. And I was hitting every Walmart around, and there was only 3 or 4 sellers on each one at a time, and they were all ranked like 10 to 20,000 in grocery. And, you know, we were selling a ton of those. You know, and the price, of course, creeped down, and they still sell pretty well. I think they're all still under 50,000 or so in rank. But you know, that's how we discovered coupons, and then getting into the couponers and, you know, everything else to do with that. Now, the second tool that we use that oops, just a second. Not sure why it. So we use a tool called Search Tempest. Now there's several of these tools out there that work like this, but all you do is enter your zip code in, and then you can have it search within whatever miles. So I usually look nationwide for anything I'm looking for, because, you know, we know there's so many Amazon, eBay sellers that if we find something somewhere else, you know, we can just pass that on to them. But this is great when you're looking for, you know, any kind of product, books, Lego, textbooks. You know, you might go within 100 miles, but you probably don't want to go, you know, 1,000 miles or whatever it goes up to, 3,500 miles, or I guess 4,000 now. So this will show everything, basically. So it can sometimes be a pain if you're searching on Craigslist. You know, if you want to search this area, and I really don't know what the things are around there. If we go to Tampa, you know, Florida especially, there's got to be at least a dozen different Craigslists around Florida. So as you can see, this is showing what's around us. You know, Treasure Coast is Florida, Tallahassee, St. Augustine, Space Coast, South Florida, Sarasota, Pensacola, Panama City, and just as many up here, Gainesville, Lake City, Lakeland, Ocala, Orlando. You know, there's just a ton of them in Florida. So if I wanted to look for something, I'd have to look here. It may show things that are in the local area, but then I'd have to go to the next one and search there and search the next place. So with a tool like Search Tempest, I can use this tool to show me everything that's within however many miles. I have it on any right now, but it's going to show this Tampa Bay area is within 14 miles, and then Lakeland is 21 miles away, and then that's the ad. And then the next closest one is Sarasota, that's 42 miles from me, and then Orlando. So, so one search can show me all of these ads and all of these responses without going to 10 different websites, entering the search again, and continuing from there. You know, and this is how I found all of these couponers, and only by searching, you know, I think I entered buy stockpile. And we click on, oops, we can get to it. Okay, we'll just let that load, and then there was not a whole lot in my area. So if we click on, I wish that was an option beforehand, but click on keep going until 10 cities with results are found. when it doesn't find the results, it's just going to keep moving on. So as you can see, here's the Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay, so Eric wanted to know if there's a file of your coupon or wanted ad that we can download. Yes, you can download. You can download all of these files. You should have been emailed several times the link to the course page, which the replays will be available here as well, and you'll be able to watch them all you want. But you can just download these. You can click on them; it'll open them in your browser probably, and if not, you can, if you want to save them, you can either cut and paste them from there, or you can just right-click and save the link. But these are actual PDFs.
They open in a separate page, all of them.
Right. So they open in a separate page. You can copy the stuff out of there, or you can just right-click and save them. But of course, you can't post the PDF file to Craigslist. So you're going to be copying and pasting them from somewhere. If there's anything that you need help with making custom ads, we can definitely help you create those. So, some of the things we search for is, of course, buy stockpile, stockpile. And then when we start finding responses, then that's when we would post it into IFTTT to get notifications for our area. So a good way to do this is to, just as I did, set it to all, and then start searching for words. So we buy a lot of cosmetics, both from liquidators and couponers. So we usually put it in our ads, but if cosmetics, if you're approved in beauty and health, then a lot of these will get a ton of results. So you don't want to get a notification that people are posting 50 ads a day for cars when you're looking for makeup. As you can see, when you narrow it down, there's only a few in here, and some are, it's going to be rare that you're going to find it, and some you're going to see ads for city after city for the same ad, which is just leading you to something else. Another thing that we have notifications set up for is liquidation. So we buy a lot of businesses that are, going bankrupt or closing up. We found a lot of retro video game stuff and accessories by doing the same thing. So here's a good example: liquidation sale. Everything must go. We bought. Okay, so that's probably not something for us, but we were able to buy about 10,000 pieces from a retro video game store that went out of business about 10 years ago that wasn't retro stuff at the time, but it was all old Nintendo stuff, Game Boy accessories, cases, brand new, still in the factory cases. That we were able to sell at our video game store, and we only paid pennies a piece, literally, for the stuff. Thrift store sale. I believe this was a thrift store that was going out of business. So it's a closeout sale. I don't know how to spell close. State liquidation service. There's a great company that you'd probably want to get in contact with. They're trying to buy stuff and sell stuff for you, but we would always contact these companies and tell them, you know, what we do and what we're looking for. My brother's actually good friends with somebody who runs estate sales, and they let us go in there, you know, a day early or more, and you know, we're the only ones in there and can really buy whatever we want. So you don't know, you know, what you're going to find when, you know, especially on Craigslist, but you know, this tool lets us search, you know, as many cities as we want, every city, and we can see the kind of things that are coming up over and over again.
Eric has a question when you get a chance too about
Sure.
covering buying inventory.
Oh, okay. How do you cover yourself for write-off of inventory bought? Do you write each item down and have them sign it? So, you know, it's a regular business transaction. So, you know, if they're not, you know, if they say they don't have a receipt to give you, then, you know, we have our own receipt book I take with me everywhere. So if I'm buying at a garage sale or yard sales or, you know, from the side of the road, if they don't give me a receipt, I'm going to write my own. And, you know, we got a really good CPA. He's in Florida. He's a PhD, has a PhD in accounting. He owns his own CPA company. And that's who does our taxes. And what he has told us is you should be logging your mileage, which we've made a great video on, you know, on some of the tools that we use for doing that. And so if we have a log of going there and coming back, and you know, if you took money out of the bank, you took $400 out, and you have a receipt written down $400, and you know, you say you bought health and beauty items and diapers and whatever, and then you know, he says that's all you need. You're going to have a record of selling the stuff, so the stuff had to come from somewhere. And he says the IRS is perfectly happy with you know, that much coverage. He says that's way more than most people are showing. But, you know, on top of that, we write a receipt that they sign with a name and address. You have to have a name and address, you know, and if it's handwritten, it should have a signature on it. So if they're unwilling to do that, then, you know, it's a legal thing. At the very least, you know, write that invoice out yourself, even if you don't sign it. You're going to have met them somewhere. You're probably going to their house. You're going to write the address down that you went to, you know, whatever name you have. And, you know, we haven't been audited yet, but, you know, we have a really good accountant that has a whole team of, you know, other CPAs working under him. And, you know, this is how he's told us to do it. And we haven't had any problems yet with it. And, you know, if it makes sense, you know, then do it, but don't spend, you know, $50,000 over the next year buying from couponers and have absolutely no record of doing it. The, you know, the IRS isn't going to go for that. But as long as, you know, you're keeping records, the stuff you buy has to come from somewhere. You know, they don't assume that you stole it out of a Walmart. So
For your receipt book, did you just do you just make your own, or did you like download it, or?
no, we have a real receipt book that we bought at, you know, that you buy at like Office Depot or on Amazon. You're going to, you know, they have either, you know, invoices, receipt books. They have the little skinny ones, or, you know, they have the bigger invoice ones that flip up, and, you know, it's a handwritten receipt. So if there's no more questions on this, I wanted to go over how we hire our VAs, and that's we use Upwork. Upwork is really the best one that we've found so far, and we've found a ton of great talent. We must have at least 10 or more the programmers from our tools to, you know, VAs that, you know, source products to people that post on Craigslist for us. We've hired all of them through Upwork. So of course you have to create an account if you don't have one here. And this is to hire people from really anywhere in the world. There's US based people, and there's people in the Philippines and everywhere else. So to post a job, all you have to do is click on let's go back to my jobs, and then you're just going to click on post job. And this is basically just a data entry position. And as you can see here, 11 hours ago I posted, you have to create a job even if you're bringing your own employee. So I actually posted this web research, which is a new virtual assistant that I hired that was friends with my other virtual assistants, but we're paying them through Upwork. And so I posted this job 11 hours ago. I already have 71 applicants. So there's a ton of people looking for these kind of jobs. So for this kind of job, we're going to do this is just going to be data entry, so administrative support, and then data entry. But almost any, and you know, the way we're showing you is going to cover really any kind of job that you may need to hire somebody for, from programming to web design to really any kind of online job you can come up with. So for Craigslist, the Craigslist people that I've hired, I look for people that have experience, that have done it before, because we can basically just give them our information and let them go with it. But for people who are doing Amazon research, like you want a VA to find you products, things like that, or doing work on your Amazon account, you probably don't want somebody that's experienced. You want them to do it your way, not whatever way that they did it somewhere else. And if they did it for someone else, and they're looking for a job now, they're either trying to double dip by working for you and working for someone else, or they are they got fired from their other job because they couldn't do it right. Because usually when you find a good VA, you're going to keep them forever, basically. So with the Craigslist, usually those kind of jobs eventually end, or they were just doing it as part of some kind of other job. So, you don't have to put a lot of information here. I just like to put a short summary of what we're looking for, and then once they start applying, you can give them the full lowdown, because anybody could see these. So you may not want the whole world to see what you're doing. So we're looking for a qualified applicant with experience posting a Craigslist. So what I've learned from a lot of other people with experience, and from our experience, that you always want to ask them, a pointed question that they answer. Because of those 71, I think that we showed you, you're only gonna, maybe 40 to even 50 of them aren't even going to read your job ad. They're looking at the category that applies to them, and they're sending you a form letter. and they never read it. So we ask them any kind of question that, it could be your favorite color or, anything you can think of. Just ask them a question that they specifically have to answer. So this is an ongoing project. You want to hire one or hire more than one. They basically will just close it after you hire the one, and select up to 3 skills. So English is usually the top one for us. Data entry, and I don't think Craigslist is a skill. Yeah. So we want to pay by the hour, and entry level, we're only going to pay about $3 an hour. So, so how long do you expect the job to last? Usually put whatever you think. If you think it's going to be a permanent job, put more than 6 months. But if you're only going to have somebody working for a week, don't give them the impression that that's going to be a full-time job. So obviously doing this is going to be less than 3 hours a week. I think even post about 10 ads a day or more. And she comes and does it a couple times a day. It's still way less than 30 hours a week. So freelancer preferences, this is basically hides it if the only people that you give to the link or invite through their system can see it, or people who have an account on here, or anybody. So this puts it out on Google basically and other search engines. Preferred qualifications. This is where if you only want people in a certain area, if you only want Americans, English level, at least conversational. Basic is probably going to mean they don't speak English at all and they're going to be using a translator. Usually we're using one of these two.
There's a question about confidentiality agreements as well when you get a chance. Okay.
Screening questions, this is where you can just add questions that they would specifically answer in an order, and it makes them send a cover letter, which is just another form letter that they do, and then we can preview it. So this is basically what it's going to look like with just our information we already went over, and we post the job. So Mike wanted to know what kind of confidentiality agreements we have with our VAs. All of our VAs are foreigners. The local ones we have, we hired ourselves. We don't use Upwork for, and we don't use a confidentiality agreement. We're not going to be able to sue somebody in the Philippines for not following the laws in America, and you're paying them $3 an hour. So they're not going to follow any agreement that you make them sign. So we really don't waste our time on that, because they're not going to adhere to any kind of agreements that we do, and we really can't enforce them, if they don't. So the job's live. They're going to give you a bunch of people that you can invite to apply. This looks like this is an actual, this isn't a person. This is, some kind of a service. And this job we're only going to pay about $3 to $3.50 for. So, these people that want $15 an hour, because she's in the United States, it's not the kind of job that, you know, you need an American to do. So I'm going to go back to my jobs, and we're going to, and I'll show you some of the kinds of ads that we get. So again, this is a service. We never hire through a service because you're dealing with one person, and then they're going to give instructions to somebody else, and you know, so we never want to use these agencies. You know, so the first thing I'm going to do is, oops, not that one. So we're going to archive it because that's something that we don't want. We just don't want to see that anymore. So it's showing the recommended ones first, usually the highest ratings, highest amount of hours. This is another service or agency, and I don't like going through them. So here's somebody, this is their, you know, asking rate, but you can offer them whatever you like. Usually in the past, we offered them $3.33, which let them get $3 an hour, and then they would, but all the rates have gone up now, so I haven't really looked into, you know, see what the difference is, but I don't see that we should, you know, the job isn't really warranting more than making $3.33 an hour. So as you can see, all the people that applied for this this research job is, you know, are in the range of $3 to $6 an hour, which is, you know, right where we're looking to pay. And most of the people here are going to be, you know, good for, you know, a Craigslist data entry, whatever, virtual assistant, data entry expert. And you can just click on anywhere in this box, and it's going to show you all of their information. So, you know, this is the letter that they send you. Obviously, it's just a big form letter, you know, highly motivated, capable, efficient internet marketing consultant, you know, blah, 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 a bunch of garbage. But what we look at most is their history. So this guy has 100% job success. I mean, I almost never see that. Over 4,000 hours worked. He's worked at 16 jobs, you know, so he's got a lot of hours in at a few jobs. He says he's available more than 30 hours a week. And if we scroll down, overview is basically the same information. And we're going to see his work history. He's currently employed at 6 different jobs. Virtual assistant for internet marketing, but you can see what they're paying him an hour. $3. He works 364 hours at $3.30 an hour. This one, he's making $3.33 an hour. Data entry and phone support. So he's actually taking phone calls. So that tells me that he's got experience actually doing, you know, speaking English probably, because he's probably not giving phone support, you know, in another language. Website maintenance, data entry help at 97 cents an hour. That's a long time ago before they, you know, had minimums. The minimum is now $3 an hour. I don't think there was a minimum at one point. So as you can see, there's, you know, a lot of great great information in the work history. I usually read or maybe, you know, just skim over most of this stuff because it's just not information that is going to help. And then, you know, when you're ready to talk to them, you just type in there and you can send them a message, ask them whatever questions. And when you're ready to, I'll always say what I can pay. So $4.38 an hour is what, you know, he is asking. He actually entered that amount, saying that's what, you know, he, you know, he's offering at this job. But before I send the offer, I will say, you know, this is what we're able to pay for this job. You know, and if you're able to go up down the road, you know, then you let them know that, you know, if they do a good job. So when you're ready, you're just going to click on Hire Freelancer. And you can enter whatever hourly rate you want. Says his profile rate is $6.11. Limit to however many hours a week at this rate. At 40 hours a week, it's going to be $175.20. You know, you're probably going to be somewhere around 10-hour limit. And if you drop it down to $3, you know, then it's only going to cost you $30 a week to post this ad, even if, and it won't let them go over the maximum. And then you click on yes, you understand the terms of service, and hire him. It will send him an offer, and that's really all there is to hiring somebody. But what we really like about we don't have anybody that's applied yet. What I really like about using Upwork is they have to log in, they have to connect, and that it will log all of their work. So it creates a work diary of what they've been doing. So, you know, every 10 to 15 minutes or so, it takes a capture of their screen. So you can see if they're on the same screen for an hour, then you shouldn't be paying them for it. If they're, you know, on Facebook or whatever it is they use there, then it's going to show that, it's going to reflect that information in all these screenshots. So you know if they're not working, and you can either figure out what's going on, remove that time from them, you know, or fire them and hire somebody else. But you're going to know exactly what's going on in the time that they're logged in and working for you. So that's about all there is for that. Now, you know, if anybody has any questions, you know, send me a PM or Valerie, and we'll definitely get it in the next webinar, which will be at the same time, 8 o'clock next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you can take some of this information and, you know, start trying to find some couponers. If you need help with any of that process over the next week, we're going to go over next week what happens after we find them, how to negotiate with them, and we're going to have a couponer we've been dealing with for at least 2 years now, and she is going to, you know, tell you why she chooses to deal with us, you know, how much she pays for things, you know, and if she pays this much, why she's willing to sell it for whatever, however much, and you'll be able to ask her whatever you want other than, you know, how to buy from her. But, you know, any questions you have for her, how we negotiate, how we shop with them, how we decide what to buy, you know, and everything that happens after we find a couponer. And, you know, they usually go, you know, don't want to make them sound like animals, but they usually like hunt in packs. They help each other, they share coupons, they know each other. They're in Facebook groups, they're in coupon sharing, you know, groups where they're actually meeting up, they go shopping together. You know, a lot of them are, you know, friends that have helped each other get into doing this. So when you find one, you're probably going to find other ones, and ask if they know anybody that is also doing it. And that's how we found this one, because I was buying from a friend of hers, and she turned her on to this person, and we actually buy from both of them. And once they understand that you're not just looking for a better price, they'll start sharing all their friends that coupon with you, because when they see that they just can't keep up with what you have and you need more, not you're looking to replace them, then they'll start to share all of their contacts, or at least you give them your information and say if they know anybody to send them your way. So we'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. and let us know whatever else we can help you with. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Good night.